Both of those grand juries found no probable cause to believe any crime at all was committed. Did anything inappropriate with these women, and certainly did he never harmed them and never did anything that was not consensual.
We are getting to that point in the NFL offseason where there's so much news that I need to cover that I'm going to have to start packaging all of these bits of news in one video. Now, obviously, I'm not going to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs or a different team in a video on the Cleveland Browns. But what I might do is discuss the Jadeveon Clowney signing, along with how Deshaun Watson has been doing in OTAs, and sprinkle in a little bit of an update with Deshaun Watson's case, all in one video, because yesterday we uploaded so freaking much that you didn't get a notification for my video on the Grant Cohn and Javon Kinlaw situation. So before we get to the content, man, we've been making a huge push on TikTok. It's been very successful. It's not going to affect the content on YouTube. That's not how it works. So if you guys happen to have a TikTok, make sure you follow me at Mikerophone NFL, and make sure you follow me on twitch.tv/TF Microphone if you want to watch me react to the Amber Heard case and whatnot. Now that we get all that out of the way, break! Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? I wanted to open this video by just giving you a disclaimer that typically irritates my subscribers because I've been saying it in almost every Watson video. This video is going to get demonetized. YouTube won't make money off of it as a result of it, so they won't send my content out to a larger audience. You can counteract this by leaving a like on the video, and let's get this party started. Let's start out with a very important signing that the Cleveland Browns made over this past weekend that I wasn't able to get to because I took a rare vacation. Yes, very rare for me to take a vacation, but while I was gone, the Cleveland Browns signed Jadeveon Clowney to a very unique contract. He was signed to a 5-year contract, but technically it's a 1-year contract with 4 voidable years to flank Myles Garrett on the other edge to give the Cleveland Browns a very intimidating rushing tandem. I honestly applaud the Cleveland Browns for how aggressive they are being. I mean, if you go back to 2018, the Cleveland Browns were also very aggressive, but I don't think they were on this tier of aggressiveness. Back then, they had John Dorsey, who just came down from Kansas City, drafting Baker Mayfield with the #1 overall pick, Denzel Ward with the #4 overall pick, and of course trading for Odell Beckham Jr. Obviously, Baker Mayfield and OBJ didn't pan out for the Cleveland Browns, but I still give them a lot of respect for remaining aggressive and trying to improve their team. And ultimately, Denzel Ward ended up being an absolute baller of a pick. But this past offseason, there's no denying the fact that they were significantly more aggressive. I mean, signing one of the riskiest quarterbacks that became available on the market since quite possibly when Michael Vick returned to the NFL to a 5-year, $230 million guaranteed contract is the definition of going all in on trying to improve your team. And so far, at least this early on, bear in mind, we still don't know anything about the NFL's investigation in regards to Deshaun Watson, although Roger Goodell says that he is getting close to concluding the investigation on Watson. It seems like there are nice early returns for Watson and the Cleveland Browns. Now, of course, this is just going based off of the fact that Deshaun Watson has used his wealth in order to do his best to build team chemistry with his brand new team, starting out with a trip to the Bahamas with his entire offense. And honestly, it seems like everyone had a great time at the Bahamas except for Amari Cooper. Jokes aside, I think this was a wonderful decision by Watson. A lot of his offense seems to absolutely adore him. As a matter of fact, you have this quote from none other than Nick Chubb, who said that Deshaun Watson is a special player and a natural leader, an all-around great guy to be around. The trade for Amari Cooper, the trade for Deshaun Watson, bringing back Jadeveon Clowney, I honestly think this was a remarkable offseason for the Cleveland Browns, and it could either be very successful or obviously it could blow up in their face, depending on whether this team could gel together and how bad the suspension is going to be for Deshaun Watson. Now, there are currently 3 ongoing NFL investigations to follow the Deshaun Watson lawsuit. For those of you guys that don't know what's going on, and by the way, I want to apologize, my terminology for my last Deshaun Watson video was was absolutely horrific. I said he was acquitted of criminal charges. Rather, there are no criminal charges against Deshaun Watson currently, but there are still civil charges pending against Deshaun Watson, in addition to an NFL investigation that is going to feature Deshaun Watson, John Gruden, and an NFL investigation on Daniel Snyder that Roger Goodell is kind of denying. If you want videos on that, let me know in the comment section down below. But clearly, it seems like, at least in terms of how Deshaun Watson has been towards his team so far, things have been very, very positive. He purchased a Rolex watch for Anthony Walker Jr. just for Anthony Walker Jr. giving up the jersey number 4. And honestly, as a result of this, I'm just thinking that this man has way too much freaking money, and currently one of his accusers would have to agree. So for those of you guys that don't remember who Ashley Solis is, in the last video we covered the fact that Deshaun Watson actually admitted in the deposition regarding Ashley Solis, one of the accusers, that she actually did cry following their massage. Watson would even go as far as to apologize in a text saying, "Sorry about you feeling uncomfortable. They were never my intentions. Let me know if you want to work in the future, and my apologies." When Tony Busby, the lawyer for the plaintiffs, asked, "Do you know why you sent that text apology afterwards?" Deshaun Watson replied saying, "Yes, because she was teary-eyed, and I was trying to figure out what was going on. I said we can work in the future, just let me know, and then I sent my apologies for whatever reason she was teary-eyed for." Now, a few nights ago, Ashley Solis actually appeared on HBO to give her side of the story. And again, this is why this video is going to be demonetized. Solis says that as I'm working, he deliberately grabs himself and puts his Johnson on my hand. And I pulled my hand away instantly and I started crying. And I told him that I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. Another victim said he wanted me to kind of make a V motion in his pelvic area. So go across his stomach to his thighs, back to his stomach. And I just kept massaging and did what he asked until his Jimmy kept touching me repeatedly as I did it. He was moving his Johnson back and forth as my hands moved as well. Now, Soledad O'Brien asked, it allowed him to kind of put his eggplant onto your hands? And Kyla Hayes said, exactly. O'Brien said, and you thought that it was intentional? And she responded by saying it was intentional. Now, there was a follow-up to this from Soledad O'Brien and Leah Graham, who is one of Watson's attorneys, saying that for Deshaun Watson to be innocent, 22 women would have to be lying. Why would the public believe one man versus 22 different women? Graham responds by saying it's 22 women and it's one lawyer. There's only one lawyer who was willing to take these cases. And as we know from Ashley Solis' deposition, Mr. Busby was not the first, probably not the second or third lawyer she went to, but he was the only one to take her case. Why? Not because it had merit, but because he would use these cases to increase his social media following and, quite frankly, to get on shows like this one. So it's a very interesting argument. One argument is there's 22 women and the attorney is trying to discredit the fact that it's 22 women by the fact that there was only one lawyer that was willing to take the case. Now you guys know what my stance on this is, man. I hope that Deshaun Watson isn't a horrible human being because I love watching him play football. But Ashley Solis had this to say about Deshaun Watson's contract extension as well. Bear in mind, Watson took a year off as a result of what he was being accused of and the possibility of pending criminal charges. And as a result, once he returned, the man got a gigantic pay raise. He had the most attractive contract in the entire NFL. It was unprecedented to get the type of money that Aaron Rodgers and Deshaun Watson did. Ashley Solis said that it was like a big screw you. That's what it feels like, that we don't care. He can run and throw, and that's what we care about. Kyla Hayes said that it was sick to me. I felt like he's being rewarded for bad behavior. And their lawyer, Tony Busby, chimed in as well, saying, I don't think the team cares about what Deshaun Watson may have done in a massage session. And based on my personal experience with the NFL, I don't think they care either. Now, Deshaun Watson's lawyer, Rusty Hardin, who is pretty much the big dog when it comes to handling Deshaun Watson's case, actually put out a statement in regards to what he's being accused of on HBO. Check it out.
We just did a deposition yesterday, and her deposition, her case was the third one filed and the first one to allege force, and the world went wild over it. And Sean's reputation was horrible. For 30 days, we didn't even know who she was because they were filed anonymous. And then when we get to her deposition yesterday, she admitted under oath there was no force. He used no force against her. And this is the one that gave the biggest scream when it first started. Nobody really wanted to deal much with the fact that two different grand juries found there were no criminal events. Is there any basis for believing that there was a crime committed, whether it's a felony or a misdemeanor? And both of those grand juries found no probable cause to believe any crime at all was committed. that should have been given great sway. We believe, as Deshaun has insisted under oath, each of those 3 occasions were consensual and instituted by the women. We have a tremendous social problem in this area. I totally agree. But the solution is not to assume every allegation is true. Each one ought to be looked at separately and judged on its own merits. And if that happens, we're comfortable that Deshaun has been telling the truth all along. He never did anything inappropriate with these women, and certainly never did anything that was not consensual.
Now look, man, I'm gonna be honest with you. Deshaun Watson's lawyer, Rusty Hardin, thinks that the lack of criminal charges should preclude suspension, meaning since Deshaun Watson isn't being charged criminally, he doesn't deserve a suspension at all whatsoever. He should be able to play from week 1 of the NFL season. And as fun as that sounds to me as a football fan and as a potential individual that will draft Deshaun Watson in his fantasy football draft, you have to understand that there has been situations like this before. I made a video on Ben Roethlisberger's misconduct situation, which was a very long time ago, and Ezekiel Elliott, who more recently got into some trouble for, ironically, an incident that he had at EDC. Both individuals had 6-game suspensions despite not having any criminal charges. So at the end of the day, I think Deshaun Watson could potentially get suspended for quite some time because this is more severe than Ezekiel Elliott. So let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about all this, man. Hopefully this is a nice update for you guys because we did a lot of time researching this. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.